And the fourth pick in the 2015 NBA draft goes to the New York Knicks.
Ouch. The Lakers end up bumping the Knicks out of the top three. They slide back to fourth. Not ideal, considering the Knicks had the second worst record in the league this year. Here's GM Steve Mills, blocked by our cameras by a gentleman with a fantastic head of hair.
It's nerve-wracking. You're more anxious and anticipating what's going to happen. And like I said, of course we would have preferred to go higher, but going into this knew we were going to feel good about wherever we ended up. I'm not going to comment on any particular players at this point, but like I said, we think that all the players that should be there in that range will be productive NBA players.
The Minnesota Timberwolves become the first team with the worst record to actually end up with the top overall pick in 11 years. The Lakers will pick second. Philadelphia 76ers get the third overall pick for the second straight year. With more, in attendance at the Hilton, our Doug Williams.
Thanks so much, Doug Williams, joined by Frank Isola. Frank, you were in the room where the actual drawing occurred. What was it like in there? The Knicks fall to 4.
Yeah, I knew 90 minutes for everybody else that the Knicks did not get the first pick, the second pick, or the third pick. There's no other way to look at it, but the Knicks lost tonight because, you know, the odds were they should have finished second. They dropped 2 places. The Lakers are the big winners. So now if you're the Knicks, and Doug, there are 2 games you got to go back and look at late in the season. The Knicks won back-to-back games at Orlando, at Atlanta. Those 2 games were the difference. That's why the Knicks did not end up with the most ping-pong balls. The team that did was the Timberwolves, and they got the number 1 pick.
How devastating is this for the Knicks?
You know what? I would say this. You know, when you look at the draft, and Karl Anthony Towns, Jahlil Okafor are tremendous players. Today, sitting up at the dais for Oklahoma City was Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, folks, was the number 4 pick of the draft. Steph Curry was the MVP of the league this year. He was the 7th overall pick. So I think people always have to keep that in mind. There are good players. And in this case, Steph Curry, 7th pick, Russell Westbrook, the 4th pick. You're talking about great players. So those players are in the draft. The question now, can Phil Jackson and his staff find those players? But, of course, first we have to find Phil Jackson because he wasn't here tonight.
Right. So did the Knicks take somebody at 4, do you think, or did they trade? Maybe we've talked about both scenarios maybe in the past.
Doug, you sound like a sports writer because I think you're thinking along the right lines because now that kind of does open up that equation. Do they think about if there's not a player that they're in love with, would they consider trading down? That does not always happen in the NBA. Something tells me you're talking about guys like D'Angelo Russell, Emmanuel Mudiay, the point guard that was supposed to go play for Larry Brown at SMU, played in China for a year. One of those 2 players will be available. So do the Knicks like those guys? And let's not forget about Frank Kaminsky, who supposedly had a very good interview with Phil Jackson. That's the Wisconsin big man. Would he fit the triangle? I know that might get a little people worried. But I think what you said, it's a point well taken. Right now, the Knicks have the opportunity. Who knows if they'll keep the 4th pick?
All right, maybe some solace there for Knicks fans from Frank Isola. Frank, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Back to you.